Why does life feel so empty? Whether at the beginning of our journey or somewhere in the middle, it's something that many of us struggle with. We're working towards becoming the best version of ourselves, and we're doing all the necessary things to find success. But for some reason, things just start to feel bland. Things just start to feel like they don't really matter. So let's break that down and find out how we can find true purpose in the 21st century. The first thing to do on this journey is to accept that struggle exists. A lot of us have this false idea of if we ignore it, then it's gonna go away. But that's not how it works, especially for this type of struggle. It's important to accept that we are fighting versus something. There's something going on that's making us all feel down. The way that the system is working is not necessarily to our mental health's advantage. And the quicker that we accept that is the quicker that we can take the steps necessary to overcome this. I'll simplify this by using an example. If you're blindfolded and someone tells you all you have to do is hit the final boss 10 times, I mean, you can try, but first of all, where is the final boss? What does it look like? And who am I fighting? Do I need to hit with my foot? Do I need to hit with my arm? Like, what am I really up against? You'll never know because you're blindfolded. In order to deal with this problem, it's the same thing as taking off these blindfolds and recognizing exactly what you're dealing with. But if you don't look at your enemy, if you don't understand what the problem is, you can never actually have that opportunity to assess, reassess, and actually tackle the issue. So the first thing is to realize that you actually feel this way. You do feel empty. Acknowledge this feeling. And don't feel like you're the only one. We are in a world where we're bombarded with advertising. We're bombarded with directions. We have so much information. It's hard to say, okay, well, I'm gonna choose to go this way, and this is the way I'm gonna go for the next 2, 3, 5, or 10 years. It's hard to make that decision because even at the first year, if you stay focused in the first year, you're like, well, what would happen if I actually did this? And what would happen if I do that? This overstimulation of options, it makes it hard to actually make one decision and stick with it. And this is kind of the root of where the emptiness begins. Because wherever we apply ourselves, there's that little feeling in the back of our head that could arise is, am I doing the right thing? Should I be putting my energy elsewhere? Am I most effective as the person who I am? Should I change? Should I tweak things? And then when you go on social media, there's so many people that look like you and that are visibly more successful than you are. So that adds to the doubt. Not only are there so many options that you can't really choose what you need to do, but then you open social media and everybody seems like they figured it out. Everybody's happy. Everybody's on a yacht. So that adds to the feeling of, well, maybe I'm not at the right place. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And maybe I'm a failure. And these things could start to build that feeling of emptiness. A lot of the void comes from an expectation of a reality versus the reality that we actually have, or the perceived reality that we actually have. So we expect reality to look like how Jones's reality looks, how Tommy's reality looks, when really our reality was never supposed to look like that because our journey is unique. A lot of times we're comparing someone's 30th step on their journey to our very first step. And when we do that, we're taking away from the power that our journey is actually trying to provide for us. So the first step is really acknowledging that the problem exists, recognize how you feel, acknowledge that this is not gonna go away if I don't address it. This is not gonna go away if I try to drown myself in stimulants or illusions of happiness, if I distract myself in pleasure and entertainment, in video games and parties and clubs. This is not gonna go away. You have to look at the problem for what it is, and that's when you could start to deal with the problem. Because we really need to see the enemy before we can combat the enemy. Now, the second thing on this journey is to stop seeking external validation. And I know a lot of you would say that, well, I don't search for external validation, but really think about this in a different way. To stop seeking external validation is to acknowledge that we have a human tendency to compare ourselves to others. And when we don't compare ourselves to others, others are comparing us to others. And this has an effect on us, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. We need to come to terms with who we really are. And when we come to terms with who we really are, we become more confident, because if I'm 100% me, I'm not you, and that's okay. We've been conditioned to seek external validation. We compare ourselves to others measure our success by likes, comments, and material possessions. But the truth is, none of this leads to long-term fulfillment. It's important to understand that our lives are our lives. And no matter how similar our lives may be to other people, it's never going to be a direct parallel path that's exactly like another person. Your path is your path. And the sooner you understand this, is the sooner you'll stop comparing yourselves to others. And it's the sooner you'll stop allowing other people to compare you to others, because you'll find a confidence in being exactly who you are. And when you find that confidence and you stand firm in that foundation, nothing more can shake you, because you're sure that what is for you cannot pass you. And what passes you is not for you, at least not in that moment. And that acceptance is key, because you start to accept that you're beautiful for who you are, you're important for who you are, and most importantly, you start to realize that you are enough. In all of your imperfections, in all of your abilities, in all of your qualities, you are enough. And the sooner you accept this, is the sooner that you can start to walk with that confidence. And this leads us into the third step on this journey, and that's reconnecting with yourself. Now, to reconnect with yourself is to spend time to actually get to know that person. Sometimes this feeling of emptiness is around us because we're seeking to be other people. Sometimes it's subconscious. We're hanging around a group of friends for a long period of time, so long that we think that we are the group. We're in a field of study for so long that we feel that this study is our identity, but it's impossible. You're not just a lawyer. You're not just a nurse. You're not just a customer service agent. There's someone behind that. You need to reconnect with this person in order to find that fulfillment. And that's exactly where it starts. Now, this reconnecting could look different for a lot of us. I don't mean to reconnect. I spend time alone in the dark in meditation, just trying to get back to that initial voice that was always there, that followed me since I was a kid. And I know that when I connect with that voice, my ideas start to flourish. My person starts to transform. Like, I was gonna say beasties, but a lot of you don't know what beasties is, so transformers, let's say. So this is the first part of the solution. It's reconnecting with yourself, finding out what you truly like versus what you don't really like. Finding out what you want to do versus what you think you want to do. And a lot of times we think they're the same thing. And we think they're the same thing because we've been doing the same thing for so long. We've been around the same people for so long. And don't go and cut off people because of this video. I didn't tell you that. Don't go and say, oh, I watched this video and I'm gonna cut you off because, I'm not telling you to do that. It's just to reevaluate certain relationships, reevaluate your position in certain relationships. And when you do this reevaluation, you're going to be better fit for any relationship that you're in, because you're gonna be presenting yourself as who you truly are. That excitement is gonna come back, and that excitement is what's gonna be the light that's gonna shine over that emptiness feeling. It starts with reconnecting with yourself. And this leads us to the meat and potatoes of this video. And although there's many avenues to this journey, there's one quote that I found to be very pertinent. And it's actually a quote that I got from Vybz Kartel in his interview recently with Jazzy's World. Put a comment in the comment section if you watched that interview. But he said, mix what you love most with what you do best. And I think that this is such an underrated statement. To find your purpose, a lot of us are on this wild goose chase, trying to find something that makes us feel good about ourselves and feel good about being here on this earth. But really, after spending the time to recenter yourself, it's really acknowledging the things that you actually love in this world. What brings you excitement? What makes you feel good? What makes you smile? Write down the last thing that made you excited about life. What was the last period at a job, on a hike, whatever you were doing that made you feel like, wow, this is great. This is how you can start to find out what you love if you don't know already. But mix what you love with what you do best. And that's how you're going to find out what is best for you to do in this world. Let's say you really love technology. You're a person that really loves all these new gadgets, all of these new things that come out. You're the first person to be watching these videos. You're the first person to get them. You buy these computers and you really check out all these features. You love this. And you realize that you're not really good, like you wouldn't be able to create one, but you're really good at describing these things in a way that other people can understand them. Maybe it's your calling to start a business or a YouTube channel where you translate this technological, what people might identify as gibberish, into plain English for people that are very entry level to these stuff, but are very fascinated by these things. And that's how you mix what you love with what you do best. So do this exercise. Write down the things that you're passionate about, the things that bring you joy, the things that light you up. Write them down and write down in a separate file the things that you do best. And certainly you'll be able to find some type of synergy between them and you'll be able to start apply it. And that's a way that you can start to move on your journey to finding your purpose. Another way to find your purpose is to actually explore. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. The way I like to see it, it's almost like a graph. So you have a graph and you have the y-axis and you have the x-axis. You need 2 points on the graph to create a line. So right now you're 0. You just have the graph there and nothing happened. You don't know if you really like something or you don't like something. You gotta try it. And then you can have an assessment. And then you maybe refine your try and do it again. And then you refine your search again. And now you can clearly say, okay, well, I like this or I don't like this. And don't be so quick to say, I'm not the person that does this. I'm not the person that does that. Right now, you're nowhere. So the person that you are is something that you're trying to move forward from. A lot of times we get stuck in this idea of, oh, I'm a shy person, or, oh, I'm not an outgoing person. Okay, but this is exactly why you're on this journey. You're moving on from this. Soon you're gonna be saying, yes, I do this. Yes, I'm a person that tries this. Yes, I've done this and this and this in my life. Because you're moving on from that identity. You need to shed that old identity, these perceptions that you deem negative in your life, in order to become the person that you want to be. And this is how you're going to come closer to finding your purpose, by letting go of what was so you could become what is and what you chose to be. Now, the 5th step, and this is a very underrated step, is to appreciate patience. The beauty of life is the actual journey. Stop being in a rush. Stop being impatient. Stop being stressed. This life is for you to live. Every step of the way is a blessing. Every day that you wake up in health is a blessing. Every day that you can see someone that you love, every day that you could smell fresh air, that you could look outside, you're alive. This is the blessing. This is the success. The journey is the success. It's like trying to win a championship. The journey, working out every single day, practicing with your teammates, being on a diet regime, trying your dribbling skills, your shooting skills. All of this is the journey. And this journey is going to lead you to winning that championship. And after that championship is won, the journey is over. The success is already there. The journey is the success. Every day that you're passing to get to this point is a success. Having patience means understanding that it's not because you want it that you need it right now. It's not because you know what you have to do that as soon as you try for the first time that you're gonna succeed. Every step is necessary in order to get to the top. This is like you seeing the top of the mountain of where you want to go and thinking that, okay, well, just in one leap, because I see it, I could just be there. No, every step climbing that mountain is as necessary as the last. This whole climb on top of the mountain is the beauty of life. This is the blessing that you get to live. So don't sell yourself short by trying to get things right away. I know instant success is so appealing, but it's only appealing because you're comparing yourself to what other people's success is. What do you truly need in your life? And this is how slowly but surely you become fulfilled, because you start to gain this experience through the journey. You start to gain wisdom because of the trials and tribulations. All of this is building you to finally become who you truly are. So if you've been feeling like something is missing, don't stress. The fact that you're even asking these questions, the fact that you even found this video, means that you're on the right path. All of us go through this at a certain period. So don't feel like you're alone. It's all part of the journey. How did you find your purpose? Leave it in the comments section. I'd love to know what you use to find exactly who you are. Maybe it's a completely different process than me, and maybe somebody else can use this as something to help them on their journey. So please leave it down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.